If you're tired of constantly losing small tools, screws, and spare parts in weak bags like this, throw them in the trash. Today I'm going to show you how to turn a simple piece of PVC pipe into a sturdy tool storage box that most people can make at home. If this works, it could become one of the cheapest ways to keep your tools neatly organized and ready when you need them. Welcome back to Dan Fix. I'm Dan. Start with a large PVC pipe. For this build, I measure about 14 inches or 35 centimeters. Mark that length with a pen. A round pipe can be tricky to mark straight, so here is a simple trick. Wrap a sheet of paper around the pipeline, up the paper edge, and trace along it. That gives us a clean cutting line all the way around the pipe. Have you ever used a piece of paper to mark a straight cutting line around a round pipe? Put on safety glasses. Keep your hands away from the cutting wheel and cut slowly along the line. Do not force the blade. PVC can grab if the cut twists, so let the tool move steadily. After removing the extra piece, I check the size again. The body is about 35 centimeters long and the diameter is about 20 centimeters. That gives us enough space for small tools, screws, drill bits, and spare parts. Next, draw one long straight line along the body of the pipe. Then, stand the pipe upright and measure about 17 centimeters across the curved surface. From that mark, draw a second long line down the pipe. After that, measure about 3/4 of an inch or 2 centimeters inward from both ends of the pipe. Connect the marks and you can see the shape of a long rectangular door wrapped around the curve. This cut decides how clean the toolbox will open, so I take my time here. Cut carefully along the pen lines, but do not cut the whole door completely loose yet. We need the hinges first so the door stays aligned. Mark the hinge locations about 2.5 inches or 6 centimeters from each end. Place each hinge on the pipe and mark the holes. Drill the holes slowly. The pipe is curved so the drill bit can slide if you rush. I use rivets to fix the hinges in place. Rivets work well here because they hold thin plastic firmly without needing a nut inside every hole. After both hinges sit tight, finish cutting the remaining door line. This way the door opens in the exact position where it was cut without shifting to one side. Open and close it a few times. Look at that. The door moves cleanly and the gap stays even. That means the hinge layout worked. The next job is just as important, sanding the cut edges. Freshly cut PVC can feel sharp, and I do not want it cutting a hand or scratching the tools inside. Sand every edge until it feels smooth. Now we need to close both ends of the toolbox. Instead of buying end caps, we can make them from another PVC pipe. Prepare a PVC pipe about 110 millimeters in diameter. The goal is to turn a round pipe into a flat sheet. Use a heat gun to warm the pipe slowly. Wear heat-resistant gloves, work in a ventilated area, and do not burn the PVC. If plastic starts smoking or smelling too strong, stop and let it cool. We only want to soften it, not scorch it. When the pipe becomes flexible, open it and press it flat. I use a piece of wood to hold it down while it cools. This keeps the plastic from curling back into a round shape. Once it is flat, place the large PVC body on top and trace the inside circle. Cut out 2 round plastic discs. These will become the end panels. But if we simply push the round discs inside, they can fall out. So we need retaining rings. Take the leftover large PVC pipe and cut 4 thin rings. At first, each ring may be too large to fit inside the toolbox body. Cut through one side of the ring, place it inside the pipe opening, mark the overlap, and trim away the extra. When the ring fits snugly inside the mouth of the pipe, glue it in place with plastic adhesive. This first ring becomes a ledge. Slide the round plastic disc in against that ledge. Then glue a second ring on top of it. The disc is now trapped between 2 rings, so it cannot fall out. Repeat the same process on the other end of the pipe. I like this method because it uses scraps from the same project and makes both ends look clean. After the glue sets, check the body again. The pipe no longer looks like scrap. It is starting to look like a real storage box. The next problem is stability. A round toolbox will roll around on the bench, so we need legs. Place 2 bolts under the pipe and use them to plan the support points. Draw 2 parallel guidelines along the bottom. On each line, measure in about 3 inches or 8 centimeters from the ends and mark 4 holes. Drill those 4 holes carefully. Keep the pipe steady and do not press so hard that the drill cracks the plastic. Now prepare a smaller PVC pipe about 48 millimeters in diameter. Mark and cut small rings from it. These rings will work as spacers and feet around the bolts. Sand the edges, then glue the rings in place with super glue. Super glue bonds skin quickly, so use small drops and keep your fingers clear. Work in a ventilated area. Now let's make the handle. Prepare a white PVC pipe about 1 inch in diameter, or 25 millimeters, and about 12.5 inches long, or 32 centimeters. Mark it into 3 sections, 4 inches about 5 inches and 4 inches again. Heat 1 end of the pipe gently with the heat gun. When the PVC softens, press it flat with a piece of wood. Repeat on the other end. I keep the center round because a round grip is more comfortable when the box has weight inside. After shaping the handle, drill 1 mounting hole in each flattened end. Check that both holes line up with the top of the toolbox body. A crooked handle will still work, but it will make the whole build look homemade in the wrong way. Before final assembly, paint the parts. Start with a white primer. Primer helps the color coat stick better to PVC and gives a cleaner finish. Spray thin coats instead of one heavy coat. Let each coat dry before adding the next one. Heavy paint can run and leave ugly streaks. After the primer dries, apply the main color. This is where you can choose your own style. You can make it look like a workshop toolbox, a fishing tackle box, or a small organizer for spare parts. Once the paint is dry, install the 4 bolts as feet. Tighten them just enough to hold. Do not over-tighten because PVC can crack if you crush it. Next, install the inside storage tray. This tray helps separate screws, drill bits, blades, small wrenches, and spare parts. I use a screw gun to secure it at both ends. Use short screws and make sure they do not poke through the outside of the box. What would you store in a box like this? Screws, drill bits, wrenches, or spare parts. Now attach the handle to the top. Before loading the box with tools, lift it gently and check the handle. If anything flexes too much, add a washer, a backing plate, or another fastener. It is better to test it now than drop a box full of tools later. The final hardware is the lock set. Install 2 small latches on the front of the door. Mark the holes, drill them, and fasten the latches in place. Close the door and check the alignment before tightening everything fully. A latch that sits crooked will fight you every time you open the box. Now open the door. Close it, lock it, and lift the box by the handle. The door swings smoothly. The latches hold it shut. The feet keep it from rolling. The inside tray gives small parts a place to stay instead of disappearing in the bottom of a weak bag. This is the part I like most. We started with a simple PVC pipe, a few scraps, some hinges, bolts, rivets, glue, and paint. Step by step, it became a practical storage box that looks strong enough for real garage use. Tell me what country you're watching from. I'd love to learn how people in your part of the world reuse PVC pipe or build tool storage. You do not always need to buy an expensive toolbox for every small job. Measure carefully, cut, slowly smooth every edge, and test the handle before loading it with heavy tools. That is how scrap material becomes something useful. If you found this useful, hit like, subscribe to Dan Fix, and tell me what piece of scrap PVC we should turn into a tool next.